Hey Dunchbags, what's going on? It's Landon Remixes here, and welcome to my review of the 11th, or something like that, album from German producer C418. This one is called 148. Now, this thing actually came out last December, but I feel the need to talk about it, and talk about it explicitly. For one, I am a huge fan of Minecraft, and you might know C418. He was the person who did the soundtrack for the Minecraft game, as well as the soundtrack for the Minecraft documentary, and then came out with Minecraft Volume Beta, which was his last album back in 2013. For one, this release caught me off guard because I just went to look at Minecraft Volume Beta, and then I saw, oh my gosh, C418 has a new album out. And for two, this caught me off guard because it's finally something that's not really Minecraft related. His last three albums being Minecraft Volume Alpha 1, which was the Minecraft documentary soundtrack, and Minecraft Volume Beta. According to C418 himself, he started work on this basically after the release of Minecraft Volume Alpha, which means during the process of those other two albums, this album was also going on, which was kind of impressing me at the same time. In my opinion, I think this is his first album, at least in a long time, that doesn't sound like it's supposed to be a soundtrack. It really, truly, for the most part, sounds like it's supposed to be some kind of concept album. He's going a lot more electronic on this thing. He's going into progressive house, primarily house music on this thing. There are a couple little drum and bass pieces, but for the most part, this is a house and ambient electronic album. And of course, C418 also features some recognizable names on this one, like Big Giant Circles, who featured on one of my favorite C418 tracks, BG C418, and Laura Shigihara, who featured on one of the tracks from the album 1. And I think for the most part, the downfall of this album is a bit of its repetition, and the fact that he still kind of tries to tie Minecraft in a little bit. Now, I don't think it's overwhelming like a lot of albums, but for example, he does make references to some things like the track Droopy Remembers, which has a little bit of the same vibes as the Minecraft Volume Alpha, as well as the tracks Biome Party and Beta, which both seem to make references to his past with the Minecraft soundtracks. And then of course the fact that Laura Shigihara is once again featured when she was also on the Minecraft documentary soundtrack just brings a little bit too much nostalgia, I think, and that's the main part of this downfall. Along with the fact that the track Semantic Satiation is immediately followed by a track that includes essentially the same exact vocal line, taking on a little bit of a different style, and I completely wouldn't have minded hearing this later in the album, but once you're getting through a progressive track that's 5 some odd minutes long, and then immediately followed by another track that fades in and has the same exact vocal line, it's a little bit overwhelming to keep hearing that over and over again. On the other hand, I'm definitely getting a little bit of Eric Prydz vibes on this, especially on the first track, which is really enjoyable, and I think for the most part C418 definitely pulls off that sound. I'm really hyped to hear him actually doing this style of electronic music after fading into the more ambient indie game soundtrack sound that he's had for the past few years. And while I'm saying that, I'm not necessarily saying he completely abandons the sound that he had with those. You can definitely tell with some of the synthesizers that he's using very similar kind of tones and things like that, but then still manages to fuse it with a more experimental electronic sound without delving too far into that soundtrack feel. Another thing I've noticed is that this is an extremely good record to fall asleep to. This thing is just very chill the entire way through and doesn't go too terribly hard. In other spots, I think the collaborations on this one are some of his best collaborations to date, and that even includes one with Deadmau5, Mouse Cave, that he made on one of his albums. I think his second collaboration with Laura Shigihara is the best work they've done together, and also the flow of this album goes extremely well together. Like I said, it does bug me in a couple places when it's a little bit overwhelming, but other than that, when the tracks flow from one into the next, it sounds so freaking great, especially into the track Friend, which is also one of my favorites. One of the really cool things about this is that we finally see him doing vocals on his own work, which we haven't really seen much in the past. We haven't really seen vocals in general, but although C418 isn't necessarily a good singer, it's cool to finally hear this in his work. Overall, I think the production on this one was pretty insane, actually. Being such an out-there producer, I didn't expect his kind of standard house tracks to sound so freaking good. I think for the majority of this album, he combines that kind of Minecraft soundtrack feel with that modern electronic house feel, and it works really well together and makes for an extremely knit together piece of work. I do honestly think this is some of C418's best work to date, and I'm definitely going to cop this as soon as I can. If you guys didn't know, Minecraft Volume Alpha is also available on vinyl and CD. I just ordered the CD, so make sure to go check that out. I'll have the link for this album in the description though, so you can check it out and kind of fully experience C418's first really solid attempt at making modern house music. I'm feeling a solid 8 on this one. Like I said, really awesome work from C418, and really hope he doesn't give up, as a lot of the lyrics on this album seem like it's kind of talking about his inner struggle with wanting to give up. I really hope he doesn't give up, and that he continues pushing forward into this genre and actually cementing himself as a full-fledged EDM producer, rather than just being constantly associated with Minecraft. I think he's got a bright future ahead of him. He just needs to go and push for that. Anyway, make sure to leave me some suggestions for albums you might want me to review in the near future. I'm Landon Remixes, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.